Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ken Krell back again for another amazing session of World Love Week. And I got to tell you, I'm super excited about bringing this lady on because we worked together for the past, feels like 3 years, but it's only been like a month or so. And she is a master at what she does. She's absolutely incredible. She's the owner of Encore Elite Events and Speakers Need to Speak. And Danella Burnett is a creative force, and she is that with a passion for connecting experts to those that they serve through speaking and events, while she creates profitable visibility, and she does an amazing job of it. Through her connections, millions of dollars have been generated and tens of thousands of lives impacted through live events. Today, she's going to talk about love language and how to speak your way to wealth and get speaking gigs today. She is, as I said, a force of nature, and the events that we've done, the last event we did, our last World Love Week, our last, where she was with me for the last World Love Week 6 years ago, the last, what was it called? Pride. That's it. Danella said to me, she said, Ken, you look really tired. I'm like, thanks a lot. But that's what happens when you're up and you're doing crazy events like this. When I brought this event to her, she said, you are on crack. What is wrong with you? And that's the kind of person I want to work with, someone who will tell you out exactly how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and my producer, not of this event, but of our next Pride again and our future Prides as well, Danella Burnett. Hey, kiddo.
Ken, thank you so much for having me here. And when you shared this event with me 2 weeks ago, I did say you were crazy, but you really are crazy in a good way because your heart and your passion to serve is evident in all that you do. And you know, you're crazy, but if I'm attaching myself to you and I keep going along with the ride, I don't know what that says about me. So
we're
here
getting
we are in it together. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And this is Love Week, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to bring some value to this event, um, give some direction to some people who want to share a little bit more love in what I think is the fastest and most profitable way of getting your message out there, and that is through speaking and live events, which I know Ken believes in as well. So I'm honored for the opportunity to share a little bit with the viewers this evening.
You're going to love this. And by the way, when you watch, some of you are watching this live right now, others will be watching it throughout World Love Week. So whether you're day, night, evening, morning, and remember, we are 24 hours. So for some of us, like for me, it's 12 noon in the afternoon here in Sydney, and it's super late in the day for those in Europe. So and this is how it even got crazier, because I was like, well, we can't screw Europe. We have to make sure they have reasonable time too. So we're running 24/7, about to set a world record, I'm sure, for the longest insanity event nonstop, such as it is. But here's what we'll do. I'm going to let you run with it for a bit. I'll come back and visit with you a little bit later, and I will see if I can't make myself look less exhausted when I return.
No one else would know but me, only because I'm such a good friend that you're a little bit tired tonight, but you have again done an incredible thing here. And for those of you who are here listening, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory, kind of who I am and what I am and why I am so passionate about speaking and live events. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and talk about speaking. And I am a big believer that speakers need to speak and they need to get paid. So why am I passionate about this? Well, let me just tell you a little bit about who and what I am. And, let's start off with what are some of the benefits and challenges of speaking. And if you were here with us live, answer in the chat. If you're watching this in the live broadcast in the group, I do have that up beside me. So feel free to answer in the Facebook group, and I'll either catch it live if we're here in the broadcast, or I will definitely be looking for your answers, and let's connect throughout this week. So what are some of the benefits and some of the challenges of speaking? Well, you build authority, you get leads, you can get clients, you make money, get connections. You can leverage your time. Instead of talking with just one person, you're now talking with many. Just before me was one of the greatest speakers in our generation, a prolific speaker, and that's Mr. Les Brown. Now, obviously, speaking on a stage with somebody like Les, that I've had the privilege of doing in the past, that's going to build some authority. You know, when you speak, and whether it's now virtual or in person, you can get leads by offering people your services, inviting them to take your lead magnet or connect with you, text in for more information from you. But you can get leads, people who raise their hands and say they'd like more of the value you bring to the table. You can get clients directly from speaking. You can certainly make money from speaking in a variety of ways. When you're speaking, you're the one with the microphone, you're the one everybody's listening to. There are people who will want to connect with you. You can connect with other speakers, connect with other event hosts, and make amazing connections. And again, leveraging yourself from one to many. But what are some of the challenges to speaking? One, you've got to get good. Now, I have listened to many, many speakers tell me that they are natural speakers. I want to put that myth to bed right here and right now. There are natural talkers. There are people who are naturally more comfortable being in front of others. There are people who are more comfortable in sharing their point of view. But truly gifted, talented speaking, where you're sharing a point of view, where you're moving an audience, where you're creating transformation, where you're leading to a business or you're getting paid to speak, typically requires some coaching and or practice to get good. Become a master of your craft. And if your craft is speaking, then get the coaching, get the support that you need to get good on the stage and all elements of public speaking. Second challenge is finding the right stage. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as this goes on. Making the right offer. And that could be a free offer that you're making. It could be inviting people into your world. It could be selling from the stage. It could be, if you're a paid speaker, making the right offer to those employees or associates of the person who's paying you to speak, right offer for them to buy into the message that you're sharing with them. And then, of course, following up. When you speak, you typically have to do a lot of follow up. So, how do I know some of what I'm sharing with you? Well, my name's Danella Burnett, and I do come from Atlanta, Georgia. It is the evening here. It's 8 p.m. on Valentine's night of Love Week. And wherever you are in the world, I hope that you've enjoyed your Valentine's and you have celebrated some love in your life today. I'm a wife and a mom. There's my husband, Lee, my daughter, Emma, my son, JB, and I am all in for events. I have loved live events and hospitality since the age of 9. And the reason I know that is it was the age of 9 where I fell in love with Julia Child. I had found her on television, and this was not like today where you could find the Food Network and different food shows on, almost 24/7. I found her on television when you had bunny ears on the TV and you actually had to get up out of your seat to change the channel. I found Julia Child, and there was something about her, the lilt in her voice, the passion that she had for hospitality that literally spoke to something deep inside of me. And I have been in the hospitality space since then. Started working with a friend of the family who was a caterer when I was 15 years old. I did go on to culinary school. I have a culinary arts degree and a food service management degree, both from Johnson and Wales. And then I went on to the Washington, D.C. area, managing restaurants, training chefs, being a chef, owning restaurants, having a catering business. And then I moved here to Georgia 19 years ago. And while I had done some event producing in DC, I produced a street long, a block long festival in Washington, D.C. We shut down the streets of D.C. and had our first Oktoberfest for a restaurant and a brewery that I was the general man or assistant general manager of. We had done personal events, we had done weddings, we had done reunions, we had done corporate events. It was really when I moved here to Atlanta 19 years ago that I really stepped into the role of event producing, personal events, nonprofit events, galas, corporate community events. The largest event that I work on every year is with Simon Properties and 4th of July event for 175,000 people. Then about 10 years ago, we really stepped into the space of speakers and experts and enrollment, and I love it. Coaching, I have seen lives be transformed by phenomenal coaches sharing their expertise from the stage, connecting with the people they're meant to serve, and lives changing around the world. So that is the space that we are in, that we love to serve. We produce multiple events every year, from 1 to 3 day events, our own as well as clients. I've had the privilege of authoring several books. We have a new book coming out next month called Visibility with our speakers community, and we'll be featuring that at the event that I'm going to tell you about at the end of this broadcast. Serial entrepreneur, I have every dollar I've generated for the last 13 years has come through our company, and now I'm a speaker strategist and a speak to sell expert, helping speakers be profitable and monetize their opportunities on the stage. So this is the situation, this is the work that I've been in for the last decade. And as you can imagine, I went into 2020 with big hopes and a vision board, that 2020 vision, if you will, and very excited for the possibilities. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what my life has looked like the last 10 years, these are some of the live events that we've produced. We've been there with speakers, working with the Women of Global Change. You see Sharon Lechter. You also see the very recently late, great Frank Shankowitz of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. On the lower level here, this was actually our own event, our inaugural Speakers Need to Speak event in January in Atlanta last year. The great Monica Shaw. And as we continue to move forward, you'll see Laurel Langmeyer, Bill Walsh, Shelley Hunt, Araya McGarry, R.V. Robinson. This is basically what my life has been like the last 10 years. Suzanne Evans. This was my own stage, the Speakers Need to Speak stage. Mark Usick, phenomenal hypnotist and mental speaking expert. T.R. Garland. This was at a big event that we did in Toronto in 2019. And this is what I'm used to. The speakers speak on the stage, and then there is the rush at the end where your audience has taken your offer. They want to do more with you, and they come to the back of the room where this was my place in the world, and they either sign up to work with you in more detail because they want to go further, they want to go faster, and they want to work with the speakers and the experts that we work with. So we went into 2020 with our arms outstretched and looking forward to an amazing, amazing year of live events. And then, of course, 2020 happened. In March of 2020, the rug got pulled out from underneath of us, as it did with everyone else. But before I talk about kind of that rug getting pulled out from underneath of us, I do want to tell on myself. This next couple of pictures were the pictures that were in my presentation pre-COVID, pre the lockdown of 2020. I actually made fun of virtual events. I made fun of events like we're doing here. I did not think that you could have the same impact in virtual events as you did in person. So everything that I spoke about was in-person speaking, in-person events, stages where you stepped up and you were live in front of the audience that you wanted to share with. Now, you can imagine I've had to change my tune just a little bit, but I want to share with you what I shared before the lockdown. I would share this picture of my son on his first birthday, and remind an audience that you would never take out your phone and text happy birthday to somebody. You know you need to be there. So texting, in my opinion, was not the right fit instead of in person. I would show this and I would talk about email. We would never email an important question like, will you marry me? And for those of you in the audience, had that question come in the form of an email, would you have said yes? Of course not. So I would talk to an audience about how email doesn't get the job done either. You need to be in person. And even better, this is a picture of me swimming with the dolphins in Jamaica, one of our big vacations in 2019. And I would make fun of Zoom. Can you believe that? I made fun of Zoom, that it was just as good as being there, right? Obviously, very sarcastic when I said that prior to March of 2020. And I would point out that, this is a great tool. And here digitally with you, these are great tools for connecting with people, for being efficient. But I did not believe that this could take the place of in person. Boy, have I been proven wrong. Because while I was ready to soar, and March of 2020, I wasn't sure where we were going to go. And my initial thought was, what is going to happen in 2020? I am so grateful to say that as experts, as event producers, event planners, event experts, speakers, and event hosts, we have turned around and created the most incredible events in this virtual space. So these are the companies that we have now. Encore Elite Events is how we help national and international producers such as Ken have amazing and profitable events by supporting them to get their goals accomplished. Here locally in Georgia, we have Oakwood Occasions, which serves events, the community events we do on a local basis. My husband and I also own Linear Tent Rental, tents and events, which was the hardest hit very, very quickly in 2020. The weekend of the 13th through the 16th, we had $121,000 in cancellations in tents and tables and chairs, from the university graduation to golf tournaments, weddings, anything that you can imagine that people had come to us to get tents and events. Everything from March through May was immediately canceled over that weekend. And we have our speakers community that we launched in 2019, where we help our speakers get out on more stages and we provide them leads, resources, and community. So while I felt diversified before March of 2020, I quickly discovered that we were still all in the event space and we took a hard hit. However, I'm pleased to note now in 2021, all of our businesses across the board have actually had our best year ever because we did make the shift to virtual, and because our tents actually were very much needed for COVID treatment and testing. So grateful to say we have moved forward and made the shifts that we needed to, and the shifts that I want to help you make to make sure that you are speaking and using events to grow your business. So this is what it looks like now. It's crazy, but everything that I said, making fun of virtual events, I now live and breathe on a daily basis. I've always believed that where there are great challenges, there are great opportunities. And 2020, I think, showed that to us in a big, big way. So speaking and events are still the answer. So this is what it looks like now. That's my office. I now have multiple computers set up, multiple laptops. Here we actually have me speaking right next to Mr. Brown, who spoke a moment or so earlier today, speaking with Les on a stage here virtually. Another event that we did, here's what it looks like. Here doing an event with Brian Tracy. Here we have an event, 2020 and 21 are actually so much better than they were before because there's more speaking opportunities than ever. You have social media live shows, there's been a podcast explosion, and there's even more live opportunities that you can share your message, share your brilliance, share what you want to with the world, and grow your business and have events. So I want to share with you, you know, I often have speakers come to me and they go, how do I find speaking opportunities? So I'm going to share 5 free ways for you to find speaking opportunities here in the virtual space. And so you might want to get a pen. This is a great time to get a pen and a piece of paper. And while you're getting that, I'm just going to peek really quick and see if there's any comments over here on the Facebook page. Great. Hi, Charmaine. Hi, Michelle. Glad to have you here. And Michelle says 2020 wasn't lying about being the year of clarity, and you are absolutely right in that. So while you've gotten your pen and your paper, I'm going to share with you 5 free ways that you can find speaking opportunities. And again, if you have comments, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will check on that periodically because I love to answer questions and make sure that you get the resources and the tools that you need. So the first way for you to find speaking opportunities right here in the virtual space is to take a look at your network. But what I mean by your network is all the areas that you're connected to, and not just professionally. Maybe you are connected to your children's PTA. Maybe you are connected to alumni associations or business associations. Maybe it's your networking groups. Maybe it's your personal, the hobbies that you have. Maybe you're connected to associations or organizations. I would encourage you, and you can even look in your checkbook, like, where do you pay membership dues to? You know, is there a country club? Is there, um, you know, a local club that you're a part of? Is there a national organization? What is your network that you are connected to, that you are a member of, or that you follow on a regular basis? Write down a list of all of those and then reach out to each one of them. See if there are speaking opportunities in those networks. Maybe you've never thought of speaking at your local chamber of commerce, or you've never thought of speaking to your kids' PTA. Now that there is this virtual opportunity, there are great opportunities to share doing a workshop, maybe for a group that you've never done one for before. Maybe there's speaking opportunities that you've just never taken a look at before. So your network could be filled with great speaking opportunities. So list all of those, reach out and see if there are speaking opportunities in your network. Take a look at your past. Pull out your calendar from 2018, 2019, even 2020. And if you've attended an event or you've spoken at an event, and if you ever kind of looked around at the audience around you, whether they were in front of you or beside you, and you thought to yourself, these are my people. I'd really like to share with this audience. I have something of value that I can give to them. Then you want to reach out and find out, are they doing events now? Do they have an event on their calendar? Can you create an opportunity to speak to them? Can you speak in their social media, in their group? Can you put together a workshop? Do they have a larger event coming up? Do they have podcasts? So take a look at your past in order to fill your calendar for the future. The third is collaborations. Now, what I mean by collaboration and why this is different than network is a collaborator is someone where you share the same audience, but you serve them in a different way. For example, I speak to speakers, authors, experts, event hosts, coaches. I speak on speaking. I speak on producing events. I don't speak on books, for example. So a good collaboration for me could be anyone who's in the book space, like a publisher or a ghostwriter or a coach on books, or somebody who helps market books. Anyone on the book side of the business, that's a great collaboration where maybe we could do something together, or I can invite them to speak to my audience of speakers, authors, experts, event hosts. And if I offer for them to speak to my people, they're likely to offer for me to speak to theirs. So those collaborations where you share the same audience, but you serve them in a different way is a great opportunity for collaboration. That one tip alone could easily keep your calendar filled for the foreseeable future. Look at all of those people that, other coaches that either have events, you can do swaps on social media, you can do swaps on stages, but you collaborate in ways that you work together to even better serve the audience that you share. The fourth way is social media. Now, social media can sometimes be a little bit of a rabbit trail. So I do encourage you to be really purposeful in the way that you use social media to find speaking opportunities. One, you can post on your social media. Make sure every once in a while on your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile, in the about section, it should say that you're a speaker and what kind of speaking opportunities you're looking for. So when people go research you on social media, they see that. You can also post your speaker one sheet every once in a while on your social media postings so that people see what your talk titles are, what you want to speak about, what value do you bring to a stage. You can also use social media to look at their calendars to see what events are coming up. You can, and you want to be in the social media where your audience is. So whether your audience is on Instagram or Pinterest, LinkedIn, Facebook, or now Clubhouse, that's where you want to be. And I'll touch on Clubhouse briefly. It's become all the rage in the last month or two, to be on Clubhouse. You literally can create your own stage on Clubhouse at any time by opening a room. Open a room with a great topic, a great title that's going to share what your topic is about. You might even have invited some other people to moderate that room that speak on the same topic, and you literally have created your own stage. You can do the same thing with Facebook Lives or LinkedIn Lives. I now host 2 Clubhouse rooms every week, one on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern called Podcasts and Events, Grow Your Audience, Authority, and Profits, and one on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern called Speakers Need to Speak. It's the name of my speakers community, so I'm getting that word out there. But then we pick a topic that's relevant for speakers, and we invite seasoned and starter speakers to share their point of view, get feedback, get tips, and I frequently invite other event producers and other event experts to give valuable feedback to speakers. So I've created those 2 stages weekly by creating a Clubhouse room that's interesting to the audience that I want to serve. So social media can be a great way to find or create your own speaking opportunities. And I do also, I mentioned before, but can be a little bit of a rabbit hole and take up a bunch of time. So you do want to be very purposeful in what you do with social media and speaking opportunities. I'm going to look really quick and just refresh before we go to number 5, see if we have any questions for those first few requests on the Facebook page. Great, not just yet. If you do have questions, feel free to go ahead and put them on the Facebook group right underneath this broadcast. So number 5 is research on Google. Now this too can be kind of an opening for rabbit trails. So you want to be really purposeful in the way you do research on social media. I like to remind everyone that speakers need to speak, but they also need to get paid. So I like to use the acronym SAIL. So if you'll write down on your notes, number 5, the acronym SAIL, I'm going to tell you what those 5 things are for me to do a great keyword search to find speaking opportunities using Google. So I think speakers need to speak, but they also need to get paid. So the first S stands for speaking opportunities. And you want to use some variation of speaking opportunities, or speaker as your first keyword when you do a Google search. I have 2 words for audience because I believe using 2 descriptors of your perfect audience is just going to get you a more targeted search and better results that you can then follow up with to find speaking opportunities. Oops. Um, by now, if you are a speaker, you should have a laundry list of words that describe your perfect audience. If you don't, this is a great opportunity to do that. You want to use adjectives and nouns that describe your perfect audience. So in my case, it's men, it's women, it's professionals, it's speakers, it's experts, it's coaches. You want to have a list like that as well. And when you're using this Google method, you want to use 2 words. So if you want to speak to millennial professionals, or you want to speak to male dentists, or you want to speak to women corporate executives, using 2 different descriptors of your perfect audience each time you do a search is just going to get you a better result in that first page or 2 of results. And then the next time you do a search, you can switch up those words. The 4th is location. Now, right now, everything's virtual. You might say, why do I need to put in a location? Well, the location can still be important for 2 reasons. One, your product or services or programs might serve a local audience. So the location might be important to you because you want to be speaking more so to a local audience. Maybe you want to expand nationally. Maybe you want to expand into another state. Maybe you want to start speaking internationally in this virtual world. I have found that event hosts still have the greatest amount of influence in the area that they are in. So the location, even though the event may be virtual, the audience is still likely to be more centered around the location of the event host. So if the location matters to you because you either want to grow into a new area or you want to stay in a smaller geography, the location is important. And of course, as we move on this year and we move, into hybrid and we move back into in-person events, that location can still be very critical. So you do want to have a location in there, and it might be your city, your county, your state, the country. It might be international. So that location will again help you just get better search results. And number 5 is the event type. Maybe you want to speak to smaller groups, and you like a more intimate or workshop style presentation. In that case, you would want to use words like meetup or workshop or networking group. Maybe I said meetup. Um, Maybe you want to speak to larger audiences. And if that's the case, you want to use words like expo or conference, live event. So the event type, using that terminology, will also help identify the kind of event that you're going to speak at and what's going to come up first in that search. Now, this can be a very time consuming task. This could be something that you could delegate to a VA. This could be something that you use a service like ours to do for you. This is a big reason why we launched Speakers Need to Speak, was because we discovered a lot of speakers don't take the time to do some of these things that I've just shared with you. These are all free ways to find speaking opportunities, but they are things that will require time, either your time, time for somebody on your team, or time that you outsource to someone else. And you may have noticed that virtual is at the speed of fast. And so whether you're using these free techniques or you're getting some support and getting out on speaking gigs, you want to work quickly, you want to work systematically, and you want to work consistently, because that's what will keep your calendar filled. One of the reasons that we launched Speakers Need to Speak was, we were constantly putting speakers into our own events or into our clients' events, and we would have speakers coming back to us and saying, "That was great. Can you find me another opportunity?" And we paused for a long time because I didn't know about putting speakers into other opportunities. But when enough people ask you the same question, how many people, and you can, let me know in the chat, how many of you have created something because your clients basically told you that was what they wanted from you? Well, that was exactly what happened in our case. We had enough clients who were telling us that they wanted help, that they were having difficulty getting speaking opportunities. And so we got to work on how can we help our speakers, because there's plenty of speaking opportunities out there. Pre-COVID, there were 7,000 speaking opportunities every single day in the United States. And now in this virtual world, there are anywhere 3 to 5 times that amount every single day. So it's not a lack of speaking opportunities. It is challenging, though, to find the right speaking opportunities for you that are going to get you the results that you're looking for. Whether you're looking for more authority, or you're looking for more leads, you're looking for more clients, or you're looking to get paid to speak, it can be a challenge to find those right opportunities quickly, and you've got to be doing it consistently. Because the other challenge that we saw speakers having prior was, if they had a few gigs on their calendar, they stopped doing some of this work. But when those gigs are completed and you're looking ahead at a calendar that doesn't have the speaking opportunities you want, we would see speakers get busy with some of these tasks. Well, that kind of roller coaster activity doesn't really help you grow your business. Consistency and having a system for finding speaking opportunities, reaching out to them, and securing those opportunities is really the way to grow your business. And that's why we created Speakers Need to Speak, in order to bring leads, resources, and community to speakers to support them in that system and that consistency, and to get out on more stages around the world, whether they're virtual or in person. So again, I'll just reiterate or let you guys, if you didn't take notes before, these are all the benefits of speaking and the challenges. And we wanted to solve some of those challenges for our clients. So we created Speakers Need to Speak. And the first thing that we offer every single month to our speakers is 100 hot speaking leads. And these leads are actually curated every single month by my team, doing that kind of research that a lot of speakers don't have time for. They curate these, meaning they find them and they speak to somebody to make sure that is a valid speaking opportunity. They are looking for speakers. It is open for the right speakers to apply for those opportunities. So we found that speakers needed to know they were going to have speaking leads every single month, and we provide that. The second thing that we provide all of our speakers from the beginning is our Crush It from the Stage checklist. This is, whether it's a virtual stage or an in-person stage, this is all of the things that you want to have completed. Your speaker one sheet, all of the things you want to do to mentally and physically prepare to take the stage, all of the things that you want to have in place after the stage. This is that checklist that, regardless of your speaking opportunity, you can pull this checklist out and make sure that you are ready, you are prepared, you are positioned, and you are ready to be profitable from the stage. We also know that speakers need community and they need ongoing resources. Speaking is not one and done. It is a journey. So in our Speakers Need to Speak community, we also have 3 monthly times where you can plug in and get the 10-minute topic, is me as the expert letting you know what's going on in the industry. We also bring in experts from outside our community to share with you more ways to get good, get paid, get clear, get gigs, and get events. And we have a networking event every month because our community needs to be connecting to each other, because when one speaker gets opportunities, often it's a great opportunity for another speaker. And we see our speakers doing business with each other because they are authorities in such diverse topics. We also have a podcasters looking for guest directory. Podcasts didn't used to be looked at in the same vein as a stage that you stepped up on, but we now really look at all of these speaking opportunities, as visibility events. So podcasting is an important part of speakers getting their message out, finding clients, and getting heard. So we have a podcasters looking for guest directory with over 700 podcasters that you're going to get access to on day one of joining our community. We also have upcoming events, and I want to definitely share with you, and I'll put the link in the chat. We have an event coming up on March 4th through the 6th. It's our next Speakers Need to Speak visibility event, because we know you want to connect with other speakers and you want to get all of the resources and tools that you need to be a better speaker. So over this 3 days, I'm going to have experts in, and we're going to go all through the speaker's journey as it is here in 2021 to support you. But an exciting thing is we also have a speakers competition. Throughout this competition, every attendee is encouraged to apply to speak. And throughout the weekend, we will have all of our speakers giving their point of view, getting feedback from professional event producers, event hosts. Ken will be one of our judges as well, as some other experts that I'm bringing in. That prize package is over $10,000 in speaking opportunities, cash, prizes, programs, and services that you as speakers need. And if you join Speakers Need to Speak, you're going to get automatic upgrades to VIP, and you're going to get invited to our Speakers Need to Speak visibility event. In addition to events that we do throughout the year, last year we had 4 separate events for our members. Frequently, our members are invited for free, or they will get upgrades like we're doing for the Speakers Need to Speak visibility event. We just had a workshop a couple of weeks ago where I had experts like Jim Britt, Blue Melnick, Suzanne Evans, the actress Kim Coles, and several others that came in just to speak to our community. And it was free of charge for our members to attend, because I know you not only need my expertise, but in order to continue to grow in your speaker's journey, you need access to the top of the top industry experts around the world. And we bring you that. You're also going to get a weekly orientation and training on using the speaker leads. So every week we have an office hour that you can pop in. It is complimentary to all of our members. So you are never more than a few days away from being able to get your important questions answered. So if you are having a challenge with a speaker's application, if you've created a new one sheet and you want some feedback, if you want to go over a new story that's in your talk and you want to get some feedback from me and from other members of the community, if you want some support around answering a question on a speaker application, whatever it is, you're never more than a few days away from being able to get that immediate help that you need by just plugging in to the open office hour that we have every week so that we can support you. Our philosophy is, as a speaker, you need to get clear, you need to get good, you need to get paid, you need to get gigs, and you need to get events. And this is a journey that you're going to be on for as long as you're a speaker. I want to talk a moment about hosting your own events, because many of our speakers do become event hosts. Some of the benefits of being your own host, which is leveraging your own platform, is you get huge authority. You can grow your community. You can sell high ticket items. You can fill your other programs, create amazing partnerships. You can leverage one to many. There are challenges with hosting an event. It could be expensive. You have to fill the room. You have to know how to market the room. It takes time and it takes team. Well, how would you like to know how you can do that quickly? Well, we're going to be hosting a 1-day workshop called the Live Event Navigator. If you join our community, the Speakers Need to Speak community, you will get an invitation to our 1-day workshop. And in that 1-day workshop, you're going to learn about planning, the strategies, the process for launching an event, understanding the energies of events, how to budget. This is a great overview. Now, this is not going to turn you into an event producer. What it is going to do is make you an educated event host so that you can move forward with your own event without losing your shirt or losing your sanity. Well, we're going to be doing, and I'm going to skip over this. I wasn't sure I was going to show this presentation, so I didn't update this. We will be scheduling a new one of these in April. So by joining our community, you'll obviously get our new date, and we're going to offer you a ticket to that workshop as a gift when it's planned in April. So if you're ready to get on more platforms, to have the right event experience, and possibly make money with live events, I would ask you to join me in this virtual world. The fastest path to making money with events, speaking and hosting, and join us in Speakers Need to Speak. I've already shared with you a little bit about what our Speakers Need to Speak program includes, and it is easily valued at over $4,000. But because you are here with the World Love Week, if you go to our website right now, you'll see that Speakers Need to Speak is $9.97 per year. And we also offer it as a $99 a month. But because you're part of World Love Week, I'm going to put a link in the chat, and you're going to be able to get this for $797 for the year, $200 off our annual pricing. So instead of $9.97 per year, it'll just be $7.97. You're going to get a full year. I'm going to go through these next that are a different link. Sharing with some of our success stories of our clients. These are some of the things that we've helped them do in the last year in this virtual space. You can see booking events, hosting their own events, speaking at other events, and generating large sums of money, getting great new clients. And there, just last month, we booked our speakers into 105 speaking opportunities alone. So again, these are the benefits to Speakers Need to Speak. We're also going to give you a ticket to that Live Event Navigator, and we are going to gift you a ticket to the upcoming Live Event Navigator and our upcoming Speakers Need to Speak event. So that's been a lot of information I've given you in the last 49 minutes. I'm going to look really close and see if we have, thank you, DK. He tells me that our last workshop was awesome. He was there with us with those experts. And I'm going to see if there's any other comments here. And I see Ken has just joined us again.
I never left you. I was just off,
listening.
I was just off camera. No, you have an amazing community, and a number of our speakers actually during World Love Week have come from Speakers Need to Speak as well, and they're wonderful people. I know DK is one of your members, and he's one of my favorite people too. He's actually been featured at some of my events. So you do have a great community, and if this resonates for you, then you should go ahead and grab the link to go ahead and do. Did you give everybody the link yet, Danella?
I'm actually putting it in the chat in the Facebook group right now.
Okay, awesome. And what we'll do also, it will be on the dashboard on the page that you've got, and I think Charmaine's getting that in place for you now as well. So you guys you guys will be able to have that also. I recommend it. No one goes on my platform, just so you guys know. No, and when I say guys, that's a technical term, that's generic for human, just so that no one feels offended by that. In any event, I don't put anybody on my stage that I don't recommend, that I don't feel comfortable with, and if I don't have personal experience with them, then it's a very strong referral. So that because again, your name is your bond in this business, and you truly need to stand behind what you do. So it's really important. Just as Danella recommended this event to her speakers, I recommend, and not as a tit for tat, but because truly we want to hang out with the right people. Think about the communities that you want to hang out in. We talk about World Love Week and the idea that love really is a great way of doing business. Well, taking care of the people that you work with is important. When I approached Danella about actually doing some joint ventures together, because her community is a perfect community to be trained on what I teach during our Pride events, which is how to produce ridiculously irresistible digital events, which frankly Danella does a lot of for me, because as you know, doctors should not heal thyself. Lawyers should not lawyer for thyself. So those that are professionals in this business will bring on people to do the legwork so that they don't have to focus on mechanics, they can focus on delivery. Very important distinction there. My attitude about a presentation and about an event is that if I'm going to deliver the content, which is what I teach you to do, you need someone that can be there to make sure that the actual mechanics of the event run super smoothly, so you can focus on your audience rather than, gee, where's that video? Where's that audio? Oh my gosh, the chat's going down, or the website crashed, or whatever the heck it could be, or wait, the speaker didn't show up, which has happened before. So I got to tell you that to have what I consider a partner to work with you on that is golden. And so I have that in this a beautiful woman that you're looking at right now, who has really been there. Yeah. And I can tell you that when you choose a training partner, education partner, a business partner, if you will, and it doesn't mean an equity partner per se, it means someone that you do something together with to reach a common goal. Having that person of like mind is critically important. And we can continue to have the accolades for each person type of thing, but we talk so much about right fit audience, and the term audience is another technical term. Having the right fit people to work with, the right team, for example. So right now, while we're here in the front of the camera, Charmaine, who's on my team, is taking care of some of the back end stuff, and she's doing it with a headache. So everyone send healing energy to Charmaine, because she's been putting in a lot of extra hours, and she makes things happen. That could not happen without, again, the right fit. So whoever you work with, have that right fit go on, and choose your communities wisely, because the right community will raise you up. The right community will support you through your journey. I can tell you that our Safari community, for example, which is my high-end coaching program, when they heard about Zor's interest in helping people in his home country of South Sudan, help him bring solar to them, they were like, how can we help? How can we help? Which is how this event took place. Having that community of cheerleaders to cheer you on the same way is so important. And just knowing the heart that you're looking at right now in front of you, the community that she attracts, you're kind of crazy not to be part of it. If you're feeling in your body right now the resonance of, she's pretty cool, I want to hang out with her, then you want to just go ahead and click that link and make it happen. That's just my take on it. And I could go on for hours about you, but I can tell you what else. So if you take a look at the ROI of what you do, of training and development, and you can just shut me up whenever you want. This is really your time, Danella, but you got me going, girl. You got me going. If you take a look at the ROI of that, one idea, one speaking gig, one moment of time can change everything. And I got to tell you, your events don't need to make you a lot of money up front, but the connections they bring to you can make you lots of money over and over and over again. And that is a huge case in point. When we ran, and some of you are seeing, when we finish this segment with Danella, we will be showing more replays, some great replays of our Opportunity Fund event, which we had last year. Well, that event, while it didn't make a fortune, it provided a valuable service and kickstarted an entire new career for me worth millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars. And more than that, refreshed relationships with people such as Les Brown, who's coming on with us live during this week at what is this week? World Love Week. Yeah, there we go. You know, and by the way, being real with your audience is so important. So having that connection with so many other speakers and so on, and being part of that community really makes a humongous difference. And even if it's just nothing more than making a great friend, what's that worth to you?
Well, sharing your brilliance, I know that I spoke a lot about business here, but honestly, sharing what's on your heart and you have a passion about and the way that you serve the world is sharing love. I mean, it's a perfect tie into this week. I have long since believed that it is the speakers and the experts and the intuitives and those that are getting their messages out there are what's going to fix that broken world.
Yep.
So if you have a message inside of you, get good on a stage. Have somebody like me support you getting out there and helping people. That is, helping people is the greatest expression of love, in my opinion. And you need to have support to do that, because speaking in events is not a solo sport by any stretch of the imagination. And Ken touched on that. When Ken produced his event, now he's been a professional event host and event producer for many, many years. But when he did his event, he hired me to support him in the back of the room. My events, we bring on support. I mean, you've got to have the right support around you. You're not meant to do this alone. And this week, tying in, find the support in this group. Everyone who's connected here through World Love Week, these are the people that want people to succeed. So find collaborative partners here. Find creative people in relationships and partnerships. Like Ken said, it's not necessarily that legalistic partnership in business, but find those people you can collaborate with and partner with that are good at the things you're not. And so you could do the things that you are, and together you go further and you go faster and you help more people. So I'm just grateful to be a part of this week and share a little bit of my knowledge with everyone here, and I look forward to connecting.
By the way, I'm so totally grateful for your being here and sharing your time, sharing your love, and in the planning stage of this, sharing your time and your wisdom, even if it was encouraging me to go down this rabbit hole of insanity this week. Having that cheerleader that's with you is really, really important. And I got to tell you, if you're going to take speaking on as a journey, and I recommend that you do, because I'll give you something else to think about. We've had some people on the platform over this course of just the beginning of World Love Week that have talked about their adversity, that have talked about the challenges that they've had, whether it's been suicide or divorce or death or you name it. Trust me, there's enough theoretically bad stuff out there, right? But when you're on a stage and you're using that as a tool to help others, your dark days seem to melt away because you're out there giving to other people. And that's a fantastic means of therapy. So I just want to acknowledge you for watching, you for being here with us, Donella. And I want to encourage you guys as we land this plane, because I think who's coming up next, Roland Fraser is coming up next. And it's a fantastic interview that I did with him and he'll reveal how in 5 days he created nearly $750,000 and then went on after this interview was completed, after he went on doing millions after that with just a 5-day program that just called on his expertise. Nothing more, he knew all the stuff he was delivering. So it's pretty amazing. So Donella Burnett, you are a gem. I love you to pieces. I encourage all of you to join her, and you can catch her. You'll see her on the dashboard. She put some links in the chat. Grab her as best you possibly can from a distance and become part of her community. I love you.
Love you too. Look forward to seeing you all at our event in a couple of weeks. And if membership is right for you, love to invite you into our community. And if you're not sure, just come to the event and meet some of our community. And I cannot wait to support you. And Ken, I love you as always.
Thanks, Donella. See you. Bye, everybody. Here comes Roland Fraser.
I stand for love. Do you? Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you? Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you?
Here we go. We are now recording officially as well. Life is good. Hey, everybody. Ken Krell here. Thrilled to have you with us. It is the middle of the night here in Sydney, Australia. I mean, exactly the middle of the night at 12 midnight. But it is earlier in the day in the other side of the world, in the great city, the city of light, isn't it? City of Paris. I'm so thrilled to have Helena with us. And Helena Hansen is originally from Sweden, but now a French resident. She has been editing and reading and become a literary coach for over the past 15 years, 16 years. And today she's going to share with you about how all that can go together and how you can put love into your writing and love into your communications. And I couldn't be more excited to have with us today, tonight, this morning, good evening, whatever time you are, Helena Hansen.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. It's 2:00 in the afternoon here.
Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me. And I'm thrilled to be here, and I hope you will understand my English, because normally I speak French all the days and Swedish, of course.
Well, your English is great, and for me, it's a thrill to be having someone in France, because French is my second, next to English, is my second favorite language. So I'm absolutely thrilled. That's why I keep coming back to you, like, oui, merci, So we have to do this in English, but I hear you great. You're awesome. So I'll let you go right ahead.
Yeah. So I'm here today to talk about my love for literature and how it can make you become an excellent writer. And you can say that I brought my love for literature into my own business. And as you said, I'm a writer's coach, I'm a publisher's reader, I'm an editor. Sometimes I work as a ghost writer, and then it's a little bit more like a secret. It's not my name on the cover of the book, but it's me who has written it. And but the home office, I have an office at home, and I feel this great love for what I'm doing. And I think if you love what you do, and if you're doing what you love, you get more successful and you get more love into your life. And I hope I bring a lot of love to my customers, the writers I'm working with, because I'm working with not only established writers, I'm working with aspiring writers. And I have some advice for you how to become an excellent writer. And my first advice is everybody can write. Even if you have doubts, I think you can do it. And you can learn how to write. And the more you write, the better you get. And that is the clue to do it. They say that in Sweden, every third person wants to write a book. And I think, I don't know how the figures are in other countries, but I think it might be the same. Lots of people, they want to write a book. And I say, it's possible. Maybe you want to write a collection of short stories. That's a good beginning. Or maybe you want to write your novel, or why not a non-fiction book? Because that can be your personal business card. If you write about a topic that you're specialized in, that is great. You bring more love into your business, you get to love what you do, and the customers will love to read your book. So that's my advice to write, and you can learn how to write in many ways. You can go to, for example, you can take classes in creative writing. Sometimes I organize actually workshops in Paris in creative writing. And as you said in the beginning, I don't know if the other heard that, but I live in Paris, the city of love, or the city of lights, but I usually call it the city of love, because especially if you love literature, it's an amazing city. You can go to all those cafes where, for example, Hemingway, Fitzgerald, the Beat Generation, where they sat and created their work, and you feel the ambience of love, the love of literature, and that's just amazing. And so I brought this love into my business, and I also taken a Master of Arts in creative writing from Lund University. It's in the south of Sweden. But the most difficult thing I've done is to learn French, because when I moved to France, I couldn't speak much French. Of course, I've studied French in college, but you know, when you come to France, it's not the same way people do speak. And so I took a lot of classes and courses in the French language, and then I can enter the master program in literature. And it was a challenge, but I made it, and I made it with good grades. And I think that's thanks to my love of literature. And doing what you love, it makes you can be more, you put more love in what you do, and it becomes so much more easier to do what you love. And so don't give up. It's the same thing with writing. Don't give up. Some people, they say it's inspiration and 90% transpiration. And I think that might be right, because some days maybe you sit in front of your computer and you feel you don't get nothing written, but at the same time you think about your text, and you work it, you develop your text inside your head. And some days maybe you write a lot of pages. So my advice is to just do it. Sit in front of the computer and write. And my second advice is to read a lot. Because when you are reading books, you can read books in, of course, many, many ways. But I would say there are two main ways of reading a book. It's reading it like a reader. You get fascinated by the story, the characters, and so on. But you can also read it like an author. And you can study how the other writer has done when creating the book. For example, you can take a look at stories and doesn't think about that when writing. And you can take a look about how the characters are developed, how they are created. Because a character, there needs to be a development. A character should not be the same in the beginning of the story as in the end. And you can also take a look at the setting, the detail, the style, and that can make you find your own literary voice. And I think it's amazing reading books. So the next time when you read a book, I recommend you to read it like a writer, and read your favorite book again and see how the writer has done. And And maybe you say, oh, it's so hard to write a book. It takes so long time. But anyways, and for example, like Stephen King, he says at least that he's a organical kind of writer. That means he doesn't plan anything. He's just writing his stories. But he's also, he has a lot of experience too, so that comes into the picture. But you have, for example, Larry Brooks, who has written the excellent book Story Engineering. And there you can learn from handbooks in writing, and he is focusing on structure, on characters, and everything you need. So you have to feel for yourself which is the best way for you to write, because there are so many ways, but don't forget to read. And my third advice is to letting other people read what you've written, because it can be lonely. It can be lonely sitting at your home office or at a cafe writing, and you feel this, you're a bit alone. And I think you will feel the text gets also more alive. It's become a real story when you let somebody else reading it. So that's my third advice. And it's very good to let's say, friends and family read your text, but you can also contact a writer's coach. And maybe you wonder, what is a writer's coach doing? And me, when I'm working with customers or clients or writers or people who want to become writers, we set up deadlines. They send in text a lot of components like story, structure, characters, setting, details, language, and not at least the thing to show, not tell. That is very important, because you have to work with pictures, or you don't have to, but the book gets more interesting, if you ask me, if the reader can see pictures in front of him or her when he or she is reading the book. And very, very important. And I'm reading text mostly in Swedish, but also in English and in French, of course. And that is my advice, to let your text out of of your computer and sending it to a professional writer's coach. And I don't know if I should talk about my gift to you who are listening, because I'm offering you, because I'm so happy to be here. I'm thrilled to be here talking, and I think it's great, and I want to encourage everybody to write their story, because I think everybody has a story inside of them that needs to get out, to be read. And so you can contact me and you will get 1.5 hours of free online writing coaching. And I will also get feedback, give you feedback on 1,000 words. And there's a link. We will put it on the side, on the page after, and subscribe to my newsletter. But you can also contact me through the contact form on my web page, and I will be happy to help you, because I feel this passion, and I hope you feel passion for literature and writing too, because that is all my life is circling about around literature and writing, and that is my passion. I think it's as passionate to help other people to write and develop their text, to refine their text, as when I'm writing myself. And so I think I've chosen a great job, and I fulfilled my dream. And I think maybe of you who are listening, you have this dream of writing a book, and I say it's possible.
I'd say it's possible too, with someone like you, Helena, as a coach. That's fantastic. And I'm grateful for your being here. I do want to jump in for the moment and clarify something for everyone watching, because Helena is speaking with massive heart, but I don't think she recognized exactly what she just gave away. And so I'm going to put a limiter on it to protect her, because she is no way in the world that she can manage the bandwidth of all these people coming in for a 90-minute session with her complimentary. That is above and beyond and crazy. So crazy love. She's in Paris. She's overwhelmed by love today. So I'm going to say that it will be limited to the first few people that actually come on board to enroll with her in that incredible offer. And so when you see on her website that it's, oops, sorry, but maybe she has something else for you instead that she can scale, that'll be where we are. So it's a first mover kind of thing, but I've got to protect you, because I've seen this happen before. And the last thing I want you to do is go, oh no, I really didn't mean to do that. So yeah, anything that when we talk about giving away a gift, the last thing I want anyone to do is create a challenge for themselves where there's no limitation. And so yeah, I just wanted to jump in. I was like, oh no, she didn't do that. Because I'm like, I'm signing up right now. I want that sucker now.
Yeah, you can do that.
Right. So before we go ahead and change that on the page, whoever's watching us right now, get in there right now and do it, because otherwise it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't mean, for me, it doesn't mean you have to book your time just now. We can planify it for maybe people can send in text in some month, because to be honest, I'm a kind of popular publisher's reader, and I have a lot of job, and I have a lot of text to read. So I'm very thankful.
That's my point. We can't have
that you are helping me to.
So what I'll recommend is this, and because we're producing it, we can jump in and we can kind of help make those rules. So I want to encourage Helena to, when we finish the interview today and we finish her session, she'll scale it to the point where, and this is a lesson for everybody. I teach this in our Pride program, which stands for Produce Ridiculously Irresistible Digital Events. It's to make sure that what you do offer, you don't get yourself in trouble for. So
no.
I say in trouble is like, oh mush, I promised too much, because we want to give. I mean, that's the whole idea. It's really sharing your love.
Yeah.
But if we overshare it, then we create a nightmare for ourselves. And by the way, this event is a perfect example, because what was right, Zor? It's a totally perfect example of oversharing and overhelping. I did not really intend to do a 24/7, oh my gosh, 300 speaker kind of an event. And so it came from here, from wanting to help Zor help his folks in his family and his village in South Sudan. So I'll recommend that what you do is you have a redeem by date, and you see that with any kind of contest or free gift anyway from other people. So that's totally okay. So let them redeem by a certain date, then you'll deliver it within a certain time frame. So there's an expectation, and limit it to say the first 10, 20, 30, 400, whatever you want to use, because you never know, especially when our VIPs get lifetime access to this recording, they can look at it next year and go, oh, I want that.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to make sure we protect you, because you're editing from the heart and you're always busy. So I don't think you're recognizing that, this could be, oh my goodness, what you've given, what you've offered,
I'm aware of that.
Right. What you've offered is so incredibly generous that I just want to make sure that you don't like, what did I do? So as you guys watch, understand something. This is a limited offer and a first come, first serve. So I can protect this natural beauty here of a human that is hoping change the world by editing and crafting literature for her clients that can truly make a gigantic difference and shift people's experience from where they are right now to where they can be, all because of the way words and stories appear in print. And that is an incredible gift that you have.
Thank you. Because I want to spread the love, my love for literature, and I want to, how do you say, encourage people to write.
Sure. So let me ask you a question. If I was going to be an aspiring writer, and I guess to some degree I am, I've already got a couple books that are out already and I've self-published, but if I do the kind of stuff that you're doing, not coaching people, but I want it to be like when you're clients, first of all, what type of writing do you work with? Are you fiction, nonfiction? Does it make a difference?
No, I'm working with both.
Interesting.
And yeah, but there are some other kind of things you look at or analyze if you're working with a nonfiction book. You're working, it's a lot about structure, it's the title, it's the language. You should be kind of teaching something that is easy for the audience, for the reader to understand, to not to some people they want to complicate the language because, but I think you should make it simple.
Yes. Oh,
And,
yes.
and that can be the hard part. Um, to some people, so readers, they will understand and they will get more out of the book. And yeah, so there are some other things I analyze when it comes to nonfiction books because it's two different types of writing. Maybe it's not so much show, not tell, because you're not writing a story, but at the same time, it's a kind of storytelling. So, but there are two different kind of approaches, you can say.
You know, as a nonfiction writer, and that's kind of my domain, I absolutely agree with you that the power of story is still critical because people remember the story. So if we're going to talk about whatever the topic may be, you know, training a dog, then telling the story about how Billy trained, you know, Biffy the dog or whatever, and you know, first he did this and first he did that, and then you know, and then I taught him this one little thing. Oh my God, you know, that people remember, right? So it's really important to do that. And then, as you said, very important distinction for every one of us is to remember, number one, who your audience is. If it's a scientific journal, right? If it's a scientific journal, you can talk in that very high language. But if you're talking to common people like us, then talk in natural language. Don't try to impress us with big words because that you lose the audience there. And they, you know, it's funny, you know, as a writer, I'm a writer, but I'm more of a copywriter. And when you write copy to convert, to get people to take action, you got to write it at like the 4th, 5th, 6th grade level so people can read it. Using big words that say you're a genius doesn't get you the audience. So, right.
And that is, I would say it's very important too in non-fiction or in fictional books to know who your audience is. Because if you're writing a fantasy book, it's not the same people who wants to read a thriller or a romance story. You need to limit your audience because that's a common mistake. You think, oh, I'm writing for everybody. But it's so hard to englobe all people in an audience. You have to know who your audience, who you want to write to or write for, and adapt your language, of course, after your audience. Even in fictional books.
You know, it's funny, so funny that you're mentioning that because as a marketing guy, we talk about the right fit audience and knowing who your customer avatar is and eliminating those, you know, it's like Michelangelo and that slab of marble. You know, how did he find David? He took out what wasn't, right? And you're talking about writing to the correct audience, or choosing your audience and writing to them. It's interesting. I don't think people connect that writing is the same thing. It's knowing, Stephen King, knowing who his reader is, to be able to write towards that person, whoever that market is. I don't even know who that market is for Stephen King, how you would describe their reader. But that's amazing. And I don't know that people recognize that it goes so far into everything that we do, is getting real specific to knowing your customer, knowing your client, and serving.
Exactly.
Imagine, it's really interesting knowing your client. So you go to a concert, right? And when the artist wants to play new music, we in the audience don't want new music. We still want Goodbye Yellow Brick Road at an Elton John concert. We don't want the new stuff. The hell with that. We still want, blah, blah, blah. And Elton John's probably so tired. He wants to have that road be torn up, but Yellow Brick Road has made him a lot of money, so as a writer, same kind of idea. So what kind of books excite you the most?
What kind of books? I will say I'm not specialized in any type of genre, or how you pronounce it in English.
Genre is correct.
Genre.
Oh, I like it with the genre. Très bien, it's fantastic.
Ouais, c'est très bien, c'est comme ça.
Merci. So I get excited about that. That's just one of those frank, Yeah.
I love working with all kind of books, because I think it's the same kind of craftsmanship. Because I think what's important to think about too is that you can learn how to write, because some people think it's only inspirational, it's only genius who can write a book, but this is something you can learn how to do. And of course, if you read a feel-good book, there's certain expectations from the reader. There should, for example, always be a happy ending. If you are writing a criminal story, you want to know who the killer is, or yeah, because if you are not writing like a, I don't know, trilogy or something, but there is something that's important in every type of book.
Elena, sorry.
Go ahead, Zohar.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask. I love your presentation. It's awesome. I was gonna ask, when you're writing a book or when you're writing whatever, are you a type of writer that normally start with outline and follow the outline, or are you the person that just go with the creativity of the story?
And as you answer that, understand we have less than 30 seconds left. So before we have to go to our next guest. So
yeah, I will make a quick answer. I'm planifying, because mostly I'm writing for other people. So it's what they want to write that I'm focalizing on. So they need to know what I should write as a ghostwriter, for example. But you can do both. It's when you're writing a book yourself, you do what feels the best for you, because there is no right or wrong in writing a book, I think, or the way you write a book, but there are components you need to think about.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So unfortunately we've got to end our stream right over here. We have another stream coming up in just another second here, actually right now. So yeah. Helena Hansen, thank you so much for being with us today. I love you. You're awesome.
Yeah, lots of love you from Paris, and to you all. And thank you for letting me speaking here today.
It's been an honor to have you. It's been an honor to have you. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir.
I stand for love. Do you? Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you?
Do you?
Do you? Do you?
Do you?
We can continue. It's like I was raised Catholic, so we prayed for people. Prayer is just sending out a positive vibration, and a prayer comes from your heart. So in this age of Aquarius in 2021, we have to use the power and the wisdom of our heart for greater good, for humanity, for the planet, for what is absolutely needed right now. And so what I want to say is that most people, the dissension, the challenges, the everything that's going on in the unrest and the political arena, focusing on fear, which is not love, which is expansion. So the more that we recognize difference and we start really strengthening the relationship that we have with our heart, with that wisdom center, with the place where we can really resonate from love and above, we get to make a difference in the world just by even tapping into it and starting our day with an open heart. So as I want to just share for a moment, the topic of my talk is called the healing power of love. And there's so many ways that we can recognize healing is just to make things whole again. And it's also a way for us to look at areas that are not whole, that are not working, systematically or working for the greater good of all. And we have an opportunity to say, what area of our lives feel like they need some more love? They need that energy. They need us to come up from a place of our heart's wisdom. So our hearts have a frequency of the same. When we really connect with the relationship of our heart, it is the same frequency of what is going on with the creation of the world around us. So, when you get out of bed and you stub and you go, be a terrible day. Well, you are actually claiming that. So we want to be really mindful of the things that we focus on. We want to be mindful of the thoughts that we're thinking. We're then putting out into vibration that's then creating our day, creating our world, creating our relationships, creating our health and well-being, creating our business, the expansion of our businesses, the expansion of the good that we want to do on the planet. So I'm just going to take us through just a moment of just connecting to our heart. So if it feels right to close your eyes in this moment and put your hands on your heart and take a deep, beautiful, loving breath from the center, the core, the essence, the spark of the divine in the center of your heart. Take a deep breath together right in that place. And as we do, and we're holding this space, we're fueling that spark, and we're allowing the spark of that place of our own divinity to spread out throughout our entire bloodstream and our organs and our tendons and our muscles, and even allowing a smile come on your face. And as you exhale, give forth that love. Like a gift of your own essence, that you're sharing with anyone and anything around you in this moment. So I'm just going to in this moment, just, Ken, did you feel that? Yeah. And none of us,
I did.
none of us really, oh, that's good. I just, because what happens is when we can really connect with our heart and really take that deep, beautiful breath of love in, first and foremost for ourselves, because it starts with you. And then as you exhale and give that forth, you're blessing everything around you, everyone around you. And there is no border when it comes to energy. There is no box that any of us live in. And we are all connected here on this Zoom call, on this Facebook, in this YouTube frequency right now. And we're literally sharing each other's energies. And when I'm doing this in person and not in a virtual space, I'll say, breath is so intimate that we're literally massaging each other's organs. So if you think about the intimacy of breathing, exhaling and inhaling, and opening up your heart to be of loving service to the other souls that you're sharing this journey with, it really truly is a loving journey and a loving way that we can feel intimate, feel connected, know that there is so much that we can do just by opening up our hearts and setting the intention to actually share that love and feel the wholeness, feel the healing power that we can actually send to others. So that's the first of the dynamic ways that I wanted to share today. And the second one is for us to recognize that love truly is the most powerful healing force in existence. And that was actually a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. And lifelong student, very, very active. I've read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books on the subject of love. It is truly my favorite subject. And so when we get to recognize what love is, and I love acronyms. So love for me is an opportunity for us, our vibration eternally. So when you are being love and you are sharing love and you are expressing love and you are experiencing love, you're literally raising the vibration of the planet. You're raising the vibration of humanity. When we can put our attention on the energy of love, which is expansion, and recognize that when we're in fear, anxiety, worry, doubt, we are in constriction and some face of fear. So with our awareness of that, we can say, how can I put love into this moment? How can I breathe love into this experience? How can I lift my vibration eternally? There is no separate good. So as I'm lifting my vibration of love eternally, I'm lifting humanity's vibration of love eternally. So as we have this opportunity to really lift love for each other, for the planet, we are literally healing hearts and healing minds and healing souls and healing businesses and healing our opportunities to be of service and to give. And Zor, it's such an honor to be participating in this way of giving even more love for your incredible cause. And I also have a nonprofit, so I recognize that, the more that we give this generous energy of love that continues to ripple out and keep giving of itself, this is when we get to actually be our true nature. And the truth of the matter is, we are love in the flesh. We have, each one of us, been loved into existence by love itself, or God, or source, or creator, whatever label you want to put on it. But we have to realize that every act of love is us being our true nature. And that is truly how we heal, with the power of love. And we will heal this planet, we'll heal ourselves from past sufferings, from past pain, from past abuses, from, all kinds. We can even pour love into those experiences so that we can stand even stronger and taller as love in this moment, and then move forward from that place of love. That's how we're going to heal this world. And I know that I know you all stand for love, as I do, and I'm just so honored and grateful to be sharing this message today of love. And on Love Day, it's just such an honor and a pleasure. And so the third thing that I just want to share really quick is, as you're staying connected to the energy of love, continue to ask yourself, what is my heart's deepest desire? To be of loving service to humanity. What area of humanity can I be of greatest service that really sparks the divine of my heart, that wants to be of service, that wants to be generous, that wants to give, so that we can all live in a higher frequency and really live on earth, because I truly believe that it's possible. So Ken, back to you for now.
I love you. That sort of was redundant, I guess. But let me ask you, we have a few minutes, so we can play for a little bit, and Zor, you can pop in as well. Especially if my bandwidth is being wacky, because I felt like we were playing walkie-talkie delay earlier. I love it when that happens. So if we're going to take the essence of what we're discussing in terms of love and sharing that, and apply it into a business scenario where you don't sound airy-fairy, where you have an audience that isn't necessarily on the same conscious wavelength as we are, because there's so many that are just into head and haven't, they've missed their connection. How do you add that piece into environments where people don't necessarily equate it, whether it's a scientific community where they're all quantitative versus essency. I thought maybe let's address that where folks don't yet have that connection and don't know how to play with it.
It's such a great question, Ken. And, as a spiritual life coach, I help conscious people build businesses every day. And so love is literally the energy of expansion. Fear is the energy of constriction. So quite simply, and I've done a lot of work with the HeartMath Institute, is scientifically proven that as you work with the energy of love, what would you love for your business to expand in? What area? Greater customer service, greater ability to build a better product, serve your clients on a greater level. All of those are where it is that you tapping into a greater, higher vision for your business to expand. It really isn't a lot. It's not really different from even where you want to expand, even in your personal life, deepening your relationships, having greater, more vibrant health. But it's really, how does that feel? Does it feel, because we have the greatest internal barometer built right in, it's called our nervous system. So if you're working on building or growing your company and you're saying, we want to expand in our we could do this. We could get better at emailing. We could get better at, social media. We could build a bigger program. If it feels like it's aligned with your vision and it feels expansive and that aligned with serving more of your customer base and then you're and you're moving in the right direction. When it feels constricting and it feels like, we're just like, not really feeling it. If it's not a really feeling it, that's a not it.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's true.
then you can quantitate.
Yeah. There's that old saying, and we're having delays, so it's just unfortunate. But unless it's a hell yes, it's a no. It's got to be that whole connection there. Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. Tell me, we only have a few minutes left. Tell me, how do you work with clients? What do you bring to the equation for someone that wants to work with you?
It's a great question too. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I have a website, janetgrace.love.
I love that.
I also have a free gift there too for all of your listeners today. Yes, janetgrace.love. Is that awesome? It's fabulous. Brand new. We're just rebuilding my brand. It just fit elegantly, and it was a hell yes.
Yeah.
It was a hell yes. So, but on my Facebook page, you can have a one-on-one call with me. I call my Purposeful Life Call, because if you're on purpose, you're living in the energy of love. So you can call, and I have a lot of programs, 90-day programs, year-long coaching programs, VIP days. I have a lot of do sacred retreats all over the world. And when the world opens up again, we'll be doing more retreats and doing my sacred love journeys. So lots of different ways to stay connected to me. So thank you, Ken.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have the whole idea of a sacred love journey, easy for me to say, sacred love journeys. That's awesome. Right now, the only journey that we've been having is like here at the grocery store, because we're not going anywhere. But we are. Look at this. We're global right now. So we have Australia, we have the Philippines, we have the US, we have a lot of people coming in from Canada as well, and that's just here in this Zoom room, then on Facebook. So it's really miraculous that we're able to actually, the baby just came into the room. See, now I know now I know we're complete. I've had some people say to me, "Oh no, forgive the cat." I'm like, what do you mean forgive the cat? I love it when pets and children and and stuff come in the room, because it just allows you to connect with your heart. It's pretty exciting. So, Janet, I am thrilled to pieces to have you with us. And I wish we had more time, but I tell you, we've got a full plate. Hang out with us if you like, whether either here in our little broadcast area or in Facebook. And by the way, everything that all the goodies that Janet has available for us, they're on the dashboard. So you'll be able to access it that way as well. And VIPs, you'll get anything that she's got after the event's over as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just want to encourage anyone who's feeling like they really want to connect more to their heart. My 7-day self-love journey, that is one of my free gifts, is 7 videos that are to help you really get in and deepen your relationship with your own heart, and deepen ways that you can bring more love into your life, that then of course ripples out into every area of your life.
Awesome. I'm so grateful to have you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible Janet Grace. Yay. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all. Happy Love Day. Happy Love Week. I know I'll be seeing you in this space again. Much love.
Back to you. I love it. Excellent.
I stand for love. Do you? Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?
establish our own direction as we grow into the teen years and become, therefore, our own good parent, because we want actually a kind parent, and one that will foster healthy, what we call self-talk, how we talk to ourselves. Again, the previous speaker mentioned how we need to talk to ourselves kindly, and so they learn to reject the negative comments that they often hear. Oh, you will never amount to anything, and you just can't do it, and you're expecting too much, and who do you think you are? All of these, they become aware that these are not necessary, and they don't have to espouse them. So, as they recognize when they're being treated well or not, and this is essential for getting along in the world, to know how to be treated. So I'm going to use here an example that was created with a client, not a teen client, but an adult client who was a new high school teacher and who had a very, very difficult class in which she could not get the teens to settle down or to do any work or to even pay any attention to what she was doing. And she was very distressed. So I gave her a copy of my book. I'm not allowed to sell it to patients, so I give it to them. So what did she do? She had the genius idea, after reading my book and understanding some of the teens' needs, she had the genius idea of inviting them every single class to take the first 5 minutes and write down privately what is on their mind, what they would like for themselves, where they're at, and whatever else they wanted to write. And when they were done with those 5 minutes, they were on task. They were able to participate in the class and to listen. And the question is why? Why did this help? Or how did it help? So she offered them respect. She acknowledged their status as being anxious and agitated and angry. She acknowledged their need for some way to become able to listen and study. So she helped them become more aware of themselves, take stock of themselves and their status, and center themselves. It can be as simple as that in the classroom. So let's get on to the next piece, which is emotional regulation. That's what we call it. That's the jargon. And it's helping teens recognize and accept their emotions without judging themselves. Emotions are healthy responses to what we experience. There is nothing wrong with them. And we don't control them. We cannot control them. Even though every client comes into therapy says, I want to learn to control my emotions. And I say, well, no, you can't control emotions. You can control your behavior. And that's a difference. And that will be the next piece. But right now, we're helping teens learn how to manage and regulate strong emotions so as to be able to choose their behavior. So I need actually to move back in time to a much earlier period of development, because emotional regulation really starts during the terrible twos. That's what we call them in America, when the little child becomes a little bit autonomous and wants to have his way and comes upon frustrations. And we're not used to them opposing us, and that's why we call them the terrible twos. But it is a very exciting time for the child. And what does he do when he has to struggle with a frustration? Very often, he, for lack of any ability to do anything else, he throws a temper tantrum. He feels the emotion in his body and sort of loses control of his body in struggling with the frustration, and we call that a temper tantrum. The best way to help the child who throws a temper tantrum is to let him or her recover by themselves. Not interfere with it, not shame, not punish, not yell, not prevent. So as the child recovers, he engages often in what we call self-soothing, taking care of his hurt. He might go and grab a blanket. She might be sucking her thumb and picking up her teddy bear, whatever it is. They find a way to take care of themselves as long as you don't remove that frustration. It's very important. So punishment teaches the child to disregard feelings, and giving into the tantrum is the worst thing you can do because it teaches the child that manipulation is the way to get things done. And it's just not right. And I have to say that in my practice now, I'm retired now, by the way, Ken. But in my practice, I often saw older children who were still allowed to throw temper tantrums at 10 years of age, 11 years of age. So I had a young boy who was 11 and who actually threw a temper tantrum in Walmart. And his mother was very angry with him as she brought him into the session. And we talked about it, and I first clearly set limits that, it's been okay until now to have a temper tantrum when you're frustrated, but, after next Monday, that's no longer acceptable. So you're just at the limit now. You can still do till Monday, but not after next Monday. So, and when you're frustrated, what do? You take care of yourself. Do you go read a book, listen to music, dance, punch a ball? What do you do? Whatever it is, that's good. And what if you wanted that poster so badly? How could you go about getting it? What could you do? Let's use that anger for you to figure out what you could do. So we talked that maybe he could offer to do some work to earn the money. Maybe he could go talk to neighbors and help them out to earn money. Whatever it was, he could then come up with the money and autonomy, because he would then be on his own to purchase that poster, in the sense that it would have been his own doing, his own autonomy, rather than depending on his mother. So let's move on to the really tough one, and that's the middle one of the 5 pieces, and that's behavior management. So this is about helping teens to use the energy from their emotion, exactly, to choose to resist an impulsive reaction, like throwing a temper tantrum, in favor of choosing a response that takes into account their goals, small and large, considers their needs and the path they really want to take. So this boy really wanted that poster, but he didn't have any resources on how to get it besides throwing a temper tantrum. So it was, of course, high time for him to learn that he did indeed have resources and that he could take advantage of them. So it's also important to acknowledge that for all of us, this is the biggest challenge, but also the biggest boon when we master it. But it takes a lifetime. People who are successful are those who keep their cool and choose their behavior. Think about our current vice president, who was described as unflappable, a great compliment to her when she was a senator. So how do you do that? How do you get that across? Of course, in my books, there are all kinds of exercises that train the teens to learn those skills, but I'm just going to use the old days example long before computers and other modern items. We were told to count to 10. Why? Well, take a moment to regroup. It's still the best advice that allows a person to listen to their gut and consider choices and personal goals. And here's an example here, which seems to have disappeared. No, it's right here.
I forgot about counting to 10.
Sorry.
I totally forgot about counting to 10. And in fact, I was told, I have a friend of mine who I've been working with for years as a coach, and I had to make an agreement that I wouldn't do anything impulsive business-wise, not till I counted to 10, but for 5 days. And I had a 5-day cooling off period. And if the idea was still good after 5 days, we would do it. Yeah, and I haven't exactly followed that, but it's a really good idea.
5 days is good. I have I had a 3-day example that I may go in if we have more time later, where I took 3 days to cool off and then get the situation straightened
Well,
out. So,
it's funny you're bringing me back to a memory when I was in my first relationship, way back when I was 23 years old, I think it was. And I said, like, so here's the deal. It's going to be like a rental agreement. You have to give 30 days notice. And so we have a fight because at that time everyone was breaking up, like, have a fight, break up, have a fight, break up. And I was like, I don't want that. I want something stable. So I said, okay, so here's the deal. We have a fight. You want out, you give me 30 days notice. And so every now and then we would give each other 30 days notice. And of course, the next morning it was like we retracted it. But at least we had that ability that, okay, we were able to say it and then get through it. So you make a really good point about that cooling off period.
so that is a wonderful example. And if I may use it sometime in the future.
You can even do it with that attribution. It's fine.
Oh, well, no. Okay, thank you. But I would certainly refer to you as my teacher. So I'm going to use an example here of a young man that I named Jason, and who appears in the book as an example. And I was going to read it, but time is of the essence, and so I'm not going to read it. But it was going to give you an example of the way I write, very down to earth and directly with the youth, because these books are addressed to them directly.
Nice.
And,
we have about 6 minutes, if that, or 6 or 7 minutes. So if that works for you, then feel free.
I thought I had about 8 minutes.
You do, but I was just trying to pad it.
Thank you. So Jason, this was in a shelter for teenagers who had either run away from home or been brought in by their parents, and they were all under the ages of the Children's Protective Services, where I was volunteering as a counselor. And so Jason was 17 years old, and he came in very angry and agitated, and I invited him, not told him, not asked him, but invited him to sit down with me and maybe be able to let me know what was going on. His girlfriend was so I found out his girlfriend was in the hospital, but they wouldn't let him talk to her. He had called twice, and they said no, that was impossible, and he had been so furious that he slammed the phone down and was crying, and he didn't know how to deal with it. And so I let him, take his time to settle down and narrate it and introduce yourself and make the request using your full name and sound, almost like an adult. I didn't say that, of course, but maybe that would really help. So he actually sat with me, a total stranger, and was willing to talk to me about this and then rehearse it with me. We did phone call, and in the days when we put our phone to the ear. Anyway, and he went and called on one of the available phones and in the shelter and succeeded. First time around, he succeeded. So we talked about the value of the energy from the anger, and also, and not with him, but with the readers, I talk about the value of anger. So emotions give us a lot of energy, but we can use it to make good choices. We can use it to reach our goals rather than just express our frustration. And this is something that a school counselor could certainly engage a distressed student as well, and I suspect that they do. So the next important thing are the pro-social, what I call pro-social skills, and this sort of come automatically as teens become more self-aware and empowered to be taking charge of themselves. They learn to respect themselves and others, to provide and demand sincere connection, to demand respect, avoid manipulation or intimidation, peer pressure, or even bullying. And at the same time, they learn to refrain from doing the same. So they learn to attend to their own needs, to stay on track, and avoid being distracted from the goal. So this is what Jason was learning, to practice those skills, to keep the goal in mind and to work on the skills necessary to achieve that goal, to being polite and patient. And optimally, eventually to treat himself with respect because he was entitled to talk to his girlfriend. He just needed to believe that he was. So the last piece of the 5 pieces is insightful decision making. And now, some of you may be laughing, and it takes forever for all of us to learn how to make sound decisions that use critical thinking and self-knowledge. In the book, I actually use, believe it or not, what I call yes-no decision trees, where you have a decision to make, you have a yes path and you have a no path. And if all works out, the yes path leads to yes, I can do it. But everywhere you get a choice to yes or no. And it looks like a tree. I use it horizontally with big labels. And I think it works. I also have demonstrate one for a decision I had to make, which I also put on YouTube as a verbal demonstration. So these are the 5 skills that promote self-confidence, allows teens to believe in themselves and their dreams, feel empowered to pursue them, and become resilient in the face of obstacles and challenges. So I am going to show you the book. I'm coming back here. I am going to show you not only the title. By the way, this is what one of my young patients said. I want to be me, but I don't know who I am. And she gave me permission to use the title. I think she forgot.
Her eyes are amazing. Her eyes are amazing. Wow.
So this is not the student, of course. This is a stock photo. My artist is my son, Mark Sawaya. He gets credit at the end of the book and on the back cover. And so that's a guidebook, which is already out on Amazon. This is a prototype of the workbook where the same girl is in the middle, but now she's got a whole bunch of friends that she's working with. And it's I Want to Be Me workbook. And to give you guys a taste of what this is like, what the books are like, my free gift to you is an I Want to Be Me introduction to the guidebook. And let's see if I can show that, to the guidebook and workbook. It's free if you go to my website, well, not my website, the book's website. And it's got about 80 pages. It has a lot of the instruments, introductory material. It's got the code to get more instruments online, to have access to more instruments online. And it has a sample chapter from each book, so you can see how I go about doing this teaching. And it has very detailed tables of contents so that you can see just what I cover very methodically. Is it okay, Ken, if I give the website?
Well, what we can, but I'll make it easy for everybody. We should have a link on the dashboard so people can just go right to our World Love Week dashboard. They can download it immediately. Because typically you can feel free and deliver it now if you like, but just so all of you know, the link for that will be on the dashboard, so you don't have to worry about it. Go ahead.
Yes, I saw it actually. It looked very good. So if you look at what I put after my name, I put I Want to Be Me. So it's I Want to Be Me without an exclamation point. I Want to Be Me.org.
Oh, cool. That's a great name.
It's an easy one.
It is an easy one.
Go and you sign for my email list and you get the free book.
Fantastic.
It's a download that you can get immediately.
Fantastic.
And it will be there either forever or until like my previous speaker said, either forever or until the next gift comes along.
There you go. Exactly. Beautiful. Madeline, I am so honored to have you with us today. You are a gem, and we've got to land this plane right this minute because the next broadcast is starting like right now.
Okay.
I love you to pieces. Take care. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy World Love Week. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Then I went inside and I said to him, I don't understand why you're treating me like this. what did I do? I've been taking care of you. And he just said, you don't understand. And I didn't. So I knew that he had a hand BB gun or whatever type it was, and it wasn't used yet. I went and took it, and I kept trying to figure, how can I make this work? I know BBs don't kill, but maybe if I keep pointing it at my heart and just keep shooting. But I couldn't get it to work. So I was already on many antidepressants, anxiety medication, and a lot of medications for a lot of different mental illnesses. I was given an extra one because my doctors knew that he was dying any time. And I took it, not thinking anything of it. And I kept on taking it. That same night, I passed out, and my daughter found me on the floor, half naked, coming out of the bathroom. And I said, I don't know what happened. She got me to bed, and I don't remember the rest of that day. The next night, I passed out again, and I got stuck in the bathroom, and I couldn't get myself up. My stepdaughter was there at the time. She's a nurse, and she was helping care for Tony. And I kept screaming, help me, help me. And then finally, after hours, she opened the door. She couldn't unstick me, so she had to call the fire department. Fire department came, they got me out, and I said to them, I'm very suicidal and I need to go to the hospital. And that's what I tell everybody. You need to reach out. You need to go when you're feeling like that. I'm so sorry, but it feels like it was just yesterday. I was in the hospital for 3 days, which I had been in the same one 3 times before. And I begged him on the 3rd day, I said, I have to go home. My husband's going to die tonight. I know it. I'm being a psychic. I already said 2 years before he died, I said, Tony's going to die next year. I just knew it. Just like I knew the day my mother was going to die and my father was going to die which year. So they communicated with my son, who was the contact person, and he promised that if I went home that he would watch over me and take care of me. So I don't even remember all of those days. And I was told that I was nasty. I kept passing out. I was delusional. I was just totally out of it. The only thing that I do remember is on the 24th of February, I got to kneel down next to Tony. He was in a recliner chair, and he said to me, Kathy, there's something wrong. I said, I know, it's time. But then there was a policeman at the house because I was out of hand, which I don't remember. And the policeman took me away from Tony. It's the last time I saw him. He died the next morning in hospice. One ambulance took him to hospice, and another one took me to the emergency room because I said to my son, I need to find out what's wrong with me. Why is this happening? Why can't I remember? I'm hallucinating. In the morning, a social worker was with me, and I felt a hand on my shoulder, and I turned. It was my daughter and my other 2 kids. I said, is he alive? And they said, no, he's gone. And I couldn't be with him because of what was going on. A few days later, I felt better. And then my son and I were analyzing it. We realized it was the medication. The anxiety medication combined with everything else caused me to be a crazy woman, is what I was told. But that's not the reason I share my story. I share my story for you. Anyone out there that has anything going on. I mean, just something as simple as grief. It's not really simple, but it's an everyday thing. Sometimes you can't get through it. A lot of these days with the COVID, people are being locked up. Some are going stir crazy and they don't know what to do. And there's so many statistics showing that last year, there was so many people reporting depression than the year before, and they were blaming it on COVID. But depression and anxiety are up at the top of the list of ailments that really affect people's lives. And you can overcome, just like I've overcome. I've realized in the last few weeks that my husband caused me to be suicidal. I'm not like that anymore. I'm not depressed anymore. My medications are being decreased because I feel fine. So it could be somebody in your life that you're reacting to. And what happened is, because I'm an empath, and anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's considered in spirituality where you absorb other people's energies. And unfortunately, it's me, it's the negative energies that I absorb. So I didn't realize for many years Tony was depressed, but I found information on his computer, little diaries that indicated he was. So the fights, every time we fought, it was his depression coming out stronger and bringing mine up stronger. And I want to read a quote because this represents me 100%. I've fallen, cried, been angry and afraid. But even when I was hurting, I always found a way to keep going. A strong woman never gives up. And that's my story. I just keep on going. And my spirituality is what gets me through everything, because I have the angels by my side. They point me in the direction I need to go. And many years ago, they told me, they kept on telling me about turquoise. And it's like, well, what do you mean about turquoise? And then I heard in different words, but brighten your day with turquoise. And as Ken said earlier, turquoise is a calming color and it helps you think clearly and focus better. So I always wear turquoise and have turquoise around me. You could carry notes on turquoise paper, but there's many ways to incorporate it into your life. And that's my campaign, Brighten Your Day with Turquoise, because I want you all to feel better if you're struggling. And I feel nowadays like 7 out of 10 people that I talk to are really struggling and stressed and depressed. So reach out if you need help. The main thing that I help with is the spiritual direction, because my psychic skills, my abilities to connect with the beyond are what helps people get through, because I share information that they never thought that they would hear, or I guide them in a direction that my angels are saying this is good for them. So that is the best way that I've gotten through. Of course, there is the medication end of it. There's the therapist, the doctors, and you need to have a team of people around you that works with you. So that's the main thing. I want to spread love and make the world a better place, one person at a time. And we can do it. I know we can.
No, I completely agree with you. And I want to thank you for sharing. That was pretty amazing. An amazing journey. And it's interesting that you shared that, because so many people don't recognize that being, and I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but being in a toxic relationship where you're having negative energy rub off on you is not healthy at all, love or not. If that's what you're in, we need to repel negativity. If we can't cope with it, if we can't manage it, sometimes the best thing we can say is, I love you, but I'm going to love you from a distance. And to recognize that it's not you, at all. And I
Right.
can tell you, I think all of us have a journey in some way that when it gets tough, we say, this shit's got to stop. I don't want to be here anymore. How do we get out of this madness? And I will tell you that I've thought about suicide a number of times over my life. And I remember I was in a yoga class doing downward dog, thinking about how can I kill myself, and it was like, okay, this is stupid, Ken. And I thought it was like, and I just kind of watched from above. I was like, this is really dumb. I'm doing yoga and I'm thinking about how to, but I was in pain and I wasn't loving my life. And how do I stop that? But at the end of the day, for me, it was I have far more to do. But let's face it, life is tough. Or can be tough. Let's say it that way. I don't want to say life is tough because that's the wrong affirmation. But we had Madeline on earlier, and we have some other guests coming on later on this week, where what I discovered with one of my Safari members is that teen suicide is up 8.7 times what it used to be. That's insane. That's just insane. And the basic reasoning is they don't feel they have hope. They don't see a way that there's a way out, that there's a future, which is really sad and really shameful. So what I want us to recognize is that there is the beautiful thing that you give people is a look inside, not just look inside of you, but a look inside of them with what you do on a spiritual basis and on a reading basis. And I want that out in the world. People need to have that. And frankly, I'm like, what's she going to figure out about me? Which we'll talk about after the session is over. But the magic that's there is wonderful. And to celebrate that is wonderful. And to let people recognize that there is, I don't want to say that there's hope, because that sort of seems sort of, there's hope. But you're not alone. Everybody has pain one way or the other. We all have our demons. And I remember years ago, I was doing a personal growth weekend with some people, and they were all saying to me, a couple of them were like, how would you know about us? You got your shit together. And I was like, you have no idea. You have no idea. Outside's great. Inside's like the blender's been going on. So don't let anybody else convince you that you're the problem or that you're the only one that's messed up, because everybody has a mixed master going on inside of their brain, inside of their heart, inside of their body. We all have that. Even the people with so-called perfect lives, you have no idea. None.
Yes. I agree 100%. I've been in a lot of networking groups, and I would be keeping my face, hi, how are you? And everything nice and fun and fancy. But then as soon as I left and on the way home, oh, well, I need to do this, but that's in the way. And, one of my big problems that my husband didn't like was that I'm a hoarder. And so there wasn't a lot of free-flowing energy, but we fought on that very often. And I moved recently, so all of my stuff is in the garage in the basement, so I have clear energy. But I would just put on a front, and once I walk back in the front door, it's like, here it goes again.
Yep.
And I would start crying or whatever. And it's exactly like you said. Everybody at some time in their life has these thoughts. And I just want to share really fast the second time, because it was November of 2019. I was sitting across the room from Tony as we were fighting with a pair of scissors, and I just kept going over my wrist. And it just kept going over my wrist. Every time I got to that main vein, I lifted my hand and I went around it. Kept going around and around, didn't have the nerve to get into that vein. In the meantime, Tony called the police, and when they arrived, he said, she's drawing on her arm with scissors. He did not know I was trying to cut my wrist.
God.
So I want the other people that are looking into your life to pay attention also, because it could be as simple as that. You know, you think they're drawing on their arm, but they're actually trying to cut their wrist open right in front of you. You need to find what's happening with them so you could be supportive of them and help them get through whatever's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And the bottom line really is support, letting people know they're not alone. There's all sorts of sadness out there, but the other side of it is there's all sorts of opportunity. Let's take a look at Pandemic Land, for example. What we've been doing when we haven't been live, like just before you came on, we've been replaying recordings of Opportunitython, which we ran last year. And the whole idea about Opportunitython was to say, okay, we have a pandemic, people are dying, the world's going to hell. Got it. And can you control that? No, you can only control you and your own experience. So how about if we spin it and we pivot our attitude and say, what can I do in my world to take command and control of my life so that way I'm in charge? I'm not a victim anymore. I'm the captain of my ship. I'm not in the engine room. I'm the guy given the directions, or the lady given the directions. Okay. And so we ran this 28.5-hour event with that whole attitude. People need to be in that state where they recognize they are in control. And if you feel you're getting out of control, yes, obviously get help. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got help many, many years ago. And I still have people I talk to when the pressure's on and so on. And I do the work, and we have to do the work. I mean, think about this. Do you like your teeth? Do you like keeping your teeth? Let's put it that way, right? Well, guess what? Then you probably brush them every day without even thinking about it. You don't brush your teeth, you don't shower, things don't go so good. You know, so taking care of your mental state, taking care of your spiritual state, taking care of that is equally as important as doing a daily run and getting some cardio, or eating healthy, or simply brushing your teeth, for that matter. And I know you said you put everything in the garage. I would tell you to blow up the garage. No, for real. I would tell you to blow up the garage. I mean, my mom has, I wouldn't necessarily say she's a hoarder, but she doesn't like throwing things away.
Yes.
We found in the cupboard, like, groceries that are 10 years old because they were on sale. It's like, Mom, I mean, she had me eating cookies that really were 10 years old to see if they're any good, Ken. So I made a video. My mom tried to kill me because the chemicals in those cookies were like disastrous, And so I was like, Mom, please don't die for a while, because I really don't want to have to clean out your apartment.
My kids said the same thing.
Right. So just don't do that to us. So, but here's the thing. I took a feng shui class a number of years ago. And the big thing is throw your shit away, because the more space you have, the more room you have for great energy. So, and I'll tell you, I've moved a bunch of different places over the past years, and I've got things that are missing now from the last move. God knows where the hell they are, including my favorite recipe book, but who cares? At the end of the day, none of that shit really matters. So I'm going to I'll challenge you to do the dump the garage challenge, and just throw that. Don't even look, just blow it up. Like the basic question: when was the last time you ever saw it? 1971. Yeah, doesn't need to be there anymore. Yes, I have the comfort of knowing. Yeah, and get rid of it.
My problem is I can't throw it away, so I donate it.
Fine, that's fine. Donate it. That's even better. That's even better.
I'm working on it.
Okay. And I wouldn't say problem. I would say challenge or opportunity. Now, this
challenge.
Point,
thank you.
Donate. That's what I did with a lot of my.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would dump it, and you will find just all this energy opening up. Here I am teaching you that. Anyway, we're about to head over to our next speaker. I am thrilled that you're with us. I know you've got a couple of gifts for us, so we're going to pop those into the on the dashboard. So worldloveweek.com/dashboard, and there'll be a link to all the gifts from all of our speakers, including the amazing Catherine. I got to tell you, I'm humbled by your ability to share and the way you open yourself up to us. You amaze me. You're amazing.
I stand for love. Do you? Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?